So hello, everyone. Today, I'm very happy to have a chance to interview Kerri Fair, who is a doctoral candidate in our Doctor of Education program. So today we have Kerri Fair on the screen, and we also have our research assistant, Mary Rose. Hello. So we have some questions because we heard that Kerri has recently received a job offer. So Kerri, can you tell us a little bit more about the job that you just accepted offer at?
Yes, so I've accepted a position as a lecturer. I'll be teaching predominantly literacy courses in the Department of Education at Washington University.
Wonderful. So we have several interview questions that will really be helpful for current students, like the new cohort students, and also any students who are looking for jobs. We really appreciate your time to share some of the tips with all of us. So first question, can you tell us, anything that you're willing to share about your job search process?
Sure, yeah. So I'll try to keep it concise. It ends up being kind of lengthy as I was reflecting back. I started really getting formally excited and thinking about my job search in the fall before the spring, when I knew in the spring I was going to search, so a full semester before. And so I approached that really as a researcher. And so I opened up Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Indeed, all of those, and started doing some searches that, I was interested in. So that really helped me consider and start conceptualizing what I was interested in. Remote, hybrid, did I want to be in person? And I found that really valuable because I started deciding what was getting me excited. And what might be a good fit for my family and the lifestyle that I wanted and I wanted to have within that family situation. So it just really helped me gain some insights into what they were looking for. And so after that, I started kind of a job search tab, even in my phone, as I would do in search. So I kind of had that so I could go back to and reference those. And then in January, I started really getting closer to thinking about the job search as a little bit more formal. So I updated my resume and cover letter, and I actually chose to pay someone to do that, someone who had knowledge of that, and it was worth it to me. And so a friend did that, and he also shared a kind of like a brief cover letter, which really kind of helped me understand kind of the structure of what that looked like. And I created another folder, but this time on OneDrive, so that I could start. So I had my resume, and I started having documents that were necessary there. And then I did things that were advised to me by you and others of working to submit a proposal to AERA for a presentation, working to co-write an article, all of these things that, I had been prompted in the program to try to do because it would support me later when I got to this point. So I did participate in all of those things. And then I also sat down with a mentor who's in the same field and just asked some questions, even though I was still considering different job opportunities that might be remote or more curriculum based. I found that really helpful. And then around February, I began formally applying for positions. So then I built kind of like a structure where I had a folder for each application, because not every application required the same documents, and I didn't want to miss anything. And so as soon as I knew things like my teaching philosophy and a diversity, inclusion, and equity statement, and having syllabi that I've taught before, and even going so far as collecting course evaluations by students, these were things that had been asked of me. So I kind of put those in there. And then around March, my morale was getting really low because I hadn't heard back. And I think that's what I wasn't quite ready. I got a lot of rejection notes, and I know that that's true when you're submitting things for articles, right? You just have to get used to that. But I really reflected on that, and I thought, what am I presenting in my documents? what is making me overlookable? Probably not a word, but so I thought, I think it's my cover letter. I think that it was too structured. So I actually went back and rewrote it in a way, because I've been an administrator, I've looked through those processes. I know, the first paragraph, if you don't catch someone, you're just, you're looking for a way to easily put that applicant off to this pile so you can really focus on those that you're interested in. And so I really thought, I had that in my mind because I'll be honest, working through the dissertation process, this was like a part-time job looking for a job in and of itself. It takes a lot of work and time. And so I recognized that I didn't put as much thought and intention as I should have beforehand. So anyone who's watching this, you just have to take the time to do it on the front end. And so after I did that, I submitted some for those that I was really interested in, the one that I had an offer, and move forward through their process of interviewing and doing audition teaching. So I think as far as like the preliminary setup to the job search, those were the important things that I did that I felt like really helped me efficiently submit applications, but also really know what I wanted and who I wanted to present myself as. If that makes sense.
Yes, thank you so much. So Mary Rose, would you like to bring on the second question?
Sure. So you mentioned a little bit about how you approached the process kind of as a researcher. Were there any other kind of beneficial features that you learned from the EdD program that kind of prepared you for the job search?
Yeah, so as I said, some of the things I feel that the program helps you either build or rebuild or help you identify or have your true identity throughout the program because of your writing, the courses that you're taking. You just learn a lot more about yourself. And so then I think you can really authentically represent yourself, not as in your old positions, but in this new realm of academic researcher, right, and scholar and practitioner. I was thinking about it, and even on the surface, the vocabulary that I learned throughout the coursework, I was thinking about it, and I feel like it provided access into that area of academia that I wouldn't have had before, kind of like knowing the lingo really, but much deeper than that, because it kind of pairs those constructs with real world issues that are meaningful to you. And so as you're doing that, then you really start honing in on what's important to you. Again, all of this is about presenting your authentic self. And I feel like when I revised that cover letter, that was a truer representation back to all of the work that I did throughout the program. I discovered strengths in my writing and feedback and connections to others. And I didn't really realize that until I got into this process or went to the AERA conference as well. And I was around other researcher scholars. And then, of course, then the other things of creating a web page, that was really helpful. I don't think that we talked about it in our program, but having a LinkedIn page and having those updated, but I think that was, at least talked about. Being encouraged to publish and present and be a reviewer. It's kind of like those things of encouraging you to do things that are good for you, even though you might not want to or feel like you can, but it's that constant little nudge to do it. And having done some of that, I really see the benefits on this side of it too. And so I feel like our program really does that. And then finally, just establishing connections with peers, my own cohort, and then continuing to tap into them as resources or, even to practice on with interviewing is really helpful.
That is fantastic, Kerri. And just like you mentioned, Kerri always offers us good ideas. So one of the ideas I have been going back and forth with Kerri, it's the peer mentorship program we just rolled out last year so that we would pair up year 3 and year 1 students so that they can have a chance to talk about like important stuff like study skills, how to get through the courses, how to learn new theories and ideas, even job search. And so one of the things that we have been thinking of is that we created a new program that is called a LinkedIn group for EdD students, so that they would start to like share job information. And I think that's a very important part of the doctoral program, is to have that career networking opportunity. So thank you so much, Kerri. For our recent graduates, would there be any like highlights or obstacles, during the interviewing or finding a job process that you experienced that they could look out for?
Really, for me, it was the process. So, knowing what I didn't know when I got to that third process, I had not researched or, in my interviewing in the past, as a principal or a teacher, there are certain things that you went through, like an interview, a second one, sometimes audition teaching, but I was unaware of the third step in this particular field. And so knowing that that was going to be a half day or a full day, I did reach out to you, Dr. Lee, and then you helped me kind of visualize and conceptualize what would that look like. And had I not done that, I really would have gone blind into that situation, and it might even have turned out differently than it did. So that was really helpful. Having practice interview questions too, and practicing with someone helps you really do that in advance and kind of make some mistakes. Do it with someone that doesn't make you feel like you're doing it wrong, because that's not going to help you go in with confidence. So I think that those really were the things that I think would be really helpful. And then just know the people that you're going to hire. I went in and I researched everyone as if it was a research project, right? So what they like, what they published, what their interests were, as much as possible. The same thing with the organization too, because somebody who represents the organization wants to know that you care enough about it and are interested enough to know some things about it as well.
That is so helpful. And then next question will be from Mary Rose.
So are there any things that you would advise kind of the new doctoral students that are coming in to start doing now in order to prepare for their job search later?
Yes. So kind of whenever I was thinking about my process again, like really just engage your curiosity. Start way earlier than you think. If you think that you're going to start looking in the spring, you definitely need to start investing some time in, unpacking what you really want so that you can know. I feel like that's what's really important for those who are hiring. They, of course, want someone who wants that position. And if you know that that's something you want, you're going to see yourself in that position, and you're going to start being able to communicate that to someone. So that create maybe a Pinterest board or like an interest, actually make it like a visual representation of that too. That might not fit for everyone, but I think that kind of is supportive, and it kind of helps you encapsulate a lot of different ideas and thoughts in a picture, and you don't necessarily have to write it down when you're already crunched for time. So those are some ways that I think you could prepare in advance.
How do you feel about the transition from being a doctoral candidate to a new full-time job as a lecturer? And I know that you have been an adjunct professor before, so you have experience teaching, but can you share some of your feelings right now?
Right. Well, first, I'm very excited because, yes, it's not completely unnatural or something that I don't have experience in doing, but I'll be building out courses and adding my own flavor on there. I was thinking about that question. I think the concern I have is I've been this researcher and I've enjoyed writing and navigating the balance now of building relationships within a new culture, feeling competent in the actual job requirements, but then on top of that, recognizing that if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So I want to keep writing in some way or another. I don't want to just wait a year until I'm feeling ready. So I guess all of those things I'm thinking about in my head, from going to being a student in this realm and then transitioning now into a practitioner in that way. So, but mostly excited. I know that after this entire process, what I have gained is realization about myself that I can do hard things, and this is going to be hard, and not all hard things are unending. They do kind of end, and then you can see the benefits in them. So I'll get there.
Thank you, Kerri. And Mary Rose will have the last question.
Yeah, so finally, I guess we'd just like to hear about some things that you've learned, maybe some more things about yourself, or just, about the program and going into higher ed from your time at Webster, and what will you be carrying with you into this new career?
Yeah, this is my favorite question to prepare for because I find a lot of meaning and value into my time at Webster. The first one, I think, community is everything. I value diverse perspectives, the support, and just recognizing that, yes, I've put a lot into it myself and I'm benefiting from that, but I recognize that I would not have gotten to this place without the community of my cohort, my instructors, just the education department in general. So that's important. That there are many, many ways. So there's not just one way of doing things. And sometimes that's exciting, but sometimes it's daunting. But knowing that you can be a researcher and you can find your own path, that's something I'll take with me. Every person you meet can be a mirror or a window, and that it's important to recognize that and surround yourself with a balance of both. So I think that those different perspectives, seeing value in yourself, I think all of those things were important. And then being yourself and feeling accepted and embracing that in your work makes the work itself easier, I feel like, and more enjoyable. So if you're trying to squish yourself into some methodology or something else that doesn't feel connected to you, I think it's going to be a lot harder. And when I was encouraged to find my own way and something that was meaningful to me, I think that was really impactful in all that I did during my time at Webster. So those are some big and soft things that I learned and I'm taking from Webster.
Thank you so much, Kerri. One last additional question. So can you quickly just give a brief overview of your dissertation project? Because I was thinking maybe, the audience would be interested in knowing.
Sure. So I chose to research about teacher burnout through the perspective of middle-aged, mid-career teachers. And I used a phenomenographical approach. So my methodology was a little unique in that way, in that I wasn't really looking to define or better understand burnout itself, but the lived experiences of those who are experiencing it. And so I did that through photo elicitation, where participants curated 6 to 8 photos that represented their burnout experience. They journaled about it, and then we met for a semi-structured interview that was really meaningful. And I finished it and I've submitted it, and I'm looking forward to sharing their stories and that work with anyone and everyone who's interested.
That's very interesting. And then the other thing that I'm really curious about is the AER experience. How did you feel that helped you move from a doctoral candidate to a scholar?
Well, I guess it kind of plays into that mirror and window sort of thing. I feel like when I have so much value in our cohort, it was just so meaningful, especially during the time of COVID and we weren't even in person. So I think we knew a lot about each other, and, if we were sharing our work, that's one thing. But then to be out into the larger world, and that is a very large world of research, and participate and listen to others share their research, it really helped me see that, yes, I have a place here too. Not that, my work is the same quality or, I don't have the same kind of experience, but it didn't seem unapproachable for me. And so I think that really built my confidence and helped me see that it's not just me within the safety of the university setting. I can go out and present my research and have an impact even outside of the university.
That's so meaningful. Thank you. So Mary Rose, is there any last minute question that you would like to add?
I think just from my perspective, I'm still in the MAT program, so it's really helpful for me to hear about, kind of the job search and how it was for you finding your identity as a scholar. And so, yeah, this has been great. I don't know if I have any questions about related to the job, but yeah, I just am excited to kind of speak with you a little bit, maybe at the research seminar.
And
yeah.
Kerri, is there anything that we didn't prepare for the questions that you feel like you are eager to share?
No, I think that those are most of the things I wanted to share. Hopefully
Okay.
others will find value and find their own path.